Li Jinwu wiped the sweat from his forehead as he crawled through the narrow maintenance shaft of the cargo ship Soul's Pride. The engine had been making strange noises for 3 days now, and he was the only one small enough to reach the problem area. Being the ship's engineer meant he spent most of his time in tight spaces like this, fixing things that other people broke or ignored. The Soul's Pride was not a fancy ship. It carried supplies between human colonies and trading posts, making slow trips through space, while bigger, faster ships handled the important cargo. Jinwu liked it that way. The crew was small and friendly, and Captain Park Sumin treated everyone fairly. They were like a family floating through the stars together. Jinwu had just found the loose connection that was causing the noise when alarms started blaring throughout the ship. He hit his head on a pipe as he tried to sit up too quickly. The alarm meant only one thing. They had picked up a distress signal. He crawled out of the maintenance shaft as fast as he could and ran to the bridge. Captain Park was already there, with Kim Do-yun, their communications officer, and Choi Miran, who handled medical duties and anything else that needed doing. "What's happening?" Jinwu asked, still wiping grease from his hands. Kim Do-yun looked up from his console with worry in his eyes. "We got a distress call from the asteroid field ahead. Someone's in trouble." "How much trouble?" Captain Park asked. "Big trouble," Do-yun replied. "There are at least 3 ships attacking a smaller craft. The small ship is trying to hide in the asteroids, but it's badly damaged." Captain Park frowned. She was a careful woman who always thought before acting. "We're just a cargo ship. We can't fight 3 attack ships." "Captain," Do-yun said quietly, "there's something else. The distress call. It has a child's voice on it. Someone very young is crying for help." Everyone on the bridge became silent. They all heard the fear in Do-yun's voice. Jinwu felt something cold settle in his stomach. A child was in danger. "Play the message," Captain Park said. The speakers, filled with static, then voices speaking in a language none of them understood. But underneath the alien words, they could all hear it. The sound of someone young and terrified, calling out in panic and pain. "Can you tell what species they are?" Miran asked. Do-yun shook his head. "I've never heard this language before. But the child! The voice sounds so scared." Jinwu looked at the screen showing the asteroid field. Red dots marked the attacking ships, and a small blue dot showed the damaged craft hiding behind a large rock. The attackers were circling like sharks getting closer. "We have to help them," Jinwu said. Captain Park looked at him seriously. "Jinwu, those are military ships. If we get involved, we could start a war between humans and whoever they represent. Earth Command has told us to stay neutral in alien conflicts." "But there's a child down there," Jinwu said. He could still hear the frightened voice from the speakers. "We can't just listen to a kid cry for help and do nothing." "What can we do?" Miran asked. "Our ship has no weapons and no armor." Jinwu studied the display showing the asteroid field. He had spent years learning every system on their ship, including the small repair pods they used for outside work. An idea started forming in his mind. "The attacking ships are too big to follow a small craft deep into the asteroids," he said. "But our repair pod could make it through. I could reach the damaged ship and bring the survivors back." "That's suicide," Captain Park said. "Those asteroids are moving. One wrong move and you'll be crushed." "I've piloted repair pods through worse," Jinwu replied. "Remember the meteor shower near Titan Station? I can do this." Captain Park looked at each member of her crew. Do-yun was nodding slightly, and Miran had the look she got when she was ready to help save lives. But as captain, the final choice was hers alone. Another transmission came through the speakers. This time the child's voice was weaker, more desperate. Time was running out. "If I order you not to go, will you obey?" Captain Park asked Jinwu. Jinwu met her eyes. "I'll obey your orders, Captain, but I'm asking you to let me try." Park was quiet for a long moment, then sighed. "Get to the pod. Miran, prepare the medical bay for alien patients. Do-yun, try to find any information about the attackers in our database." Jinwu ran through the corridors to the pod bay. His heart was beating fast, but his hands were steady as he powered up the small repair craft. He had flown these pods hundreds of times, but never on a rescue mission like this. The pod launched from Soul's Pride and immediately faced the dangerous asteroid field. Rocks the size of buildings spun slowly through space, with smaller debris filling the gaps between them. Jinwoo had to fly carefully, using the pod's small thrusters to push between the moving stones. Behind him, he could see the 3 attacking ships. They were sleek and dark, built for war. They stayed at the edge of the asteroid field, firing energy weapons at the hiding craft, but unable to get close enough for a clear shot. It took Jinwoo 20 minutes to reach the damaged alien ship. When he saw it up close, he knew the people inside were running out of time. The hull was cracked, and atmosphere was leaking out in small puffs of frozen gas. He attached his pod to the alien craft's emergency airlock and worked to open it. The mechanisms were different from human technology, but the basic idea was the same. After several tense minutes, he got it open. The first thing that hit him was the smell, something like flowers mixed with ozone. Then he saw them. A tall woman, with pale blue skin and silver hair, was holding a smaller figure against her chest. Both wore strange, beautiful clothes that seemed to shift color in the light. The woman's eyes were large and completely black, and they watched Jinwoo with a mixture of fear and hope. The child in her arms was unconscious and bleeding from a head wound. Without thinking, Jinwoo pulled out his emergency medical kit and started treating the injury. The woman tried to stop him at first, but when she saw he was trying to help, she let him work. Jinwoo didn't speak their language, but he used hand signals to show them he wanted to help. He pointed to his pod, then to them, then made flying motions. The woman seemed to understand. She was injured too, but she could walk. Getting both aliens into his small pod was difficult, but they managed it. The woman held her child carefully, while Jinwoo started the flight back to Seoul's Pride. Behind them, the attacking ships had noticed his pod leaving the asteroid field. They were coming after him. The next few minutes were the longest of Jinwoo's life. He pushed the pod's engines harder than they were designed to go, weaving between asteroids while energy blasts lit up space around them. The woman held her child and watched Jinwoo pilot the pod with skill and determination she had never seen before. When they finally docked with Seoul's Pride, Miran was waiting with medical equipment. The alien child was rushed to their small medical bay while the woman watched with desperate eyes. Jinwoo collapsed into a chair, exhausted but alive. Through the bridge windows, he could see the attacking ships retreating. Whatever they had wanted, they had decided it wasn't worth fighting a human ship to get it. The woman approached Jinwoo slowly. She was tall and graceful, moving like royalty. When she reached him, she placed one pale hand over her heart and bowed her head. Even without words, her meaning was clear. She was grateful. But Jinwoo had no idea that he had just saved the most important child in this part of the galaxy, or that his simple act of human kindness was about to change everything. The alien child had been unconscious for 2 days. Miran worked around the clock in the medical bay, using every trick she knew to keep the little one alive. The problem was that human medicine was designed for humans, not for beings with pale, blue skin and silver blood. Jinwoo spent most of his time sitting beside the medical bed. The alien woman, whom they had started calling the lady since they didn't know her name, rarely left her child's side. She watched everything Miran did with intelligent eyes, sometimes nodding approval or gently touching the child when the little one seemed restless. On the 3rd morning, something wonderful happened. The child opened her eyes. The lady immediately started speaking in her musical language, tears running down her blue cheeks. The child, clearly a girl, looked around the medical bay with curiosity rather than fear. When she saw Jinwoo, she smiled. "She's getting better," Miran said with relief. "Her vital signs are stabilizing." Captain Park joined them in the medical bay. "We need to talk," she said to the lady. "We've been trying to contact other ships to find out where you belong, but we need more information." The lady listened carefully, then pointed to herself. "Velara," she said slowly. "Velara," Jinwoo repeated, and she nodded. Then she pointed to her daughter and said, "Kira." "Nice to meet you, Princess Kira," Jinwoo said to the child, making her giggle despite not understanding the words. Velara's eyes widened when she heard the word princess. She studied Jinwoo's face carefully, then began speaking in broken galactic standard, the common language used for trade between different species. No? She asked with difficulty. No what? Captain Park asked. Valara took a deep breath and seemed to be choosing her words carefully. I am Princess Valara of Astral Dominion. Kira is not my daughter. We were traveling to... important meeting. Bad ships attacked us. Everyone in the medical bay became very quiet. Captain Park looked like someone had just told her that her cargo ship was actually carrying a nuclear bomb. Your royalty, Park said weakly. Yes, Valara replied. My people, they search for us. Many ships, much worry. Oh no, Do-Yun said from the doorway. He had been listening to their conversation. Captain, I've been monitoring space communications. There's a lot of military activity in this sector. Ships from something called the Astral Dominion are everywhere, looking for someone important. Valara nodded sadly. They think we are dead. If they do not find us soon, there will be war. War with who? Miran asked. The Crimson Fleet, Valara explained. They are the ones who attacked us. They want to stop peace treaty. My marriage was to bring peace between our peoples. Jinwoo felt confused. You were going to marry someone to stop a war? Valara looked surprised by the question. Yes, this is how peace is made between star nations. Important people marry to show trust. But what if you don't want to marry this person? Jinwoo asked. This seemed to confuse Valara. Want? I am princess. I do what is best for my people. The way she said it made Jinwoo sad. She talked about her own marriage like it was just business, not something that should make her happy. Captain, Do-Yun called from the bridge. We have a problem. 3 ships are approaching, and they're not from the Astral Dominion. Everyone rushed to the bridge except Miran, who stayed with Kira. The display screen showed 3 dark ships moving toward them, the same ships that had attacked Valara and Kira in the asteroid field. They found us, Valara said, fear clear in her voice. A message came through the communication system. A harsh voice spoke in Galactic Standard. Human cargo ship, you are harboring fugitives from the Crimson Fleet. Surrender Princess Valara immediately or be destroyed. Fugitives, Captain Park said angrily. We rescued survivors from your attack. The princess and her daughter are enemies of the Crimson Fleet, the voice replied. Give them to us now. And if we refuse, Park asked, then you will share their fate. The line went dead. On the screen, the 3 warships spread out to surround Soul's Pride. Their weapons were charging up. We have to fight, Jinwoo said. With what? Park replied. We're a cargo ship. They'll blow us apart in seconds. Valara stepped forward. I will go with them, she said quietly. They will let you live if I surrender. No, Jinwoo said immediately. We're not giving you up. You do not understand, Valara replied. I am trained to sacrifice for my people. This is my duty. And we're trained to protect people who need help, Jinwoo said. This is our duty. Valara stared at him. In her world, people did what was practical and logical. But this human was willing to die to protect strangers. She had never met anyone like him. There might be another way, Jinwoo said slowly. Captain, request permission to speak with their commander. Jinwoo, what are you thinking? Park asked. I'm thinking that maybe we can find a solution that doesn't involve anyone dying. Captain Park looked at him for a long moment, then nodded. Open a channel to the lead Crimson Fleet ship. The harsh voice returned. What do you want, human? I want to propose a meeting, Jinwoo said. Face to face, just you and me. Maybe we can work something out. There was laughter from the other end. You want to negotiate? You're just a primitive human. What could you possibly offer me? I don't know yet, Jinwoo replied honestly. But talking is better than shooting, isn't it? More laughter. Very well, human. I am General Thorn. You amuse me. I will meet with you on the neutral station nearby. But when our talk fails, I will take the princess and destroy your ship for wasting my time. The communication ended. Valara was looking at Jinwoo with something like wonder in her dark eyes. Why do you do this? She asked. You gain nothing by helping us. Your people are not part of this war. Maybe that's exactly why we can help, Jinwoo said. Sometimes the best solutions come from people who aren't too close to the problem. Valara reached out and gently touched Jinwoo's arm. Through her people's natural empathic abilities, she could sense his emotions. What she felt amazed her. There was no greed, no desire for reward or power, just genuine concern for her and Kira, and a determination to find a way to protect them. "Your species," she said slowly. "You are very different from what we were told." "What were you told?" Do-hyun asked. "That humans are young and primitive, that you think only of yourselves and fight over small things." "Well, we do fight over small things sometimes," Captain Park admitted. "But we also help people when they need it." Valara nodded. "Yes, I am beginning to understand this." From the medical bay, they could hear Kira laughing at something Moran was showing her. The sound made everyone smile, even in their dangerous situation. "She likes humans," Valara observed. "Kids usually do," Jinwoo said. "We're pretty good with children." "In my culture, children are precious above all else," Valara said. "The fact that you saved Kira without knowing who she was, this means very much." "We would have saved any child," Jinwoo replied. "That's just what people do." But as Valara watched him prepare for his meeting with General Thorne, she realized that what Jinwoo called just what people do was actually something very rare and special in the galaxy. Most species helped their own kind first, and others only if there was some benefit to gain. Humans, it seemed, were different. They helped because helping was right, not because it was profitable. This discovery was going to change everything. Valara thought she knew about the universe and her place in it. But first they had to survive General Thorne and his warships. As Jinwoo prepared to leave for the meeting that would determine all their fates, Valara made a decision that would have shocked her royal advisors. She was going to trust a human. Completely. Something her people had never done before. The question was, would Jinwoo's human ingenuity be enough to find a solution that could save them all? The neutral space station was a cold metal structure floating between the stars. It belonged to the Galactic Council and was used for meetings between species who didn't trust each other. Jinwoo had never seen anything like it before. The corridors were built for dozens of different body types, with sections for beings who breathed different gases and needed different gravity levels. General Thorne was waiting for him in a conference room designed for humanoid species. The Crimson Fleet commander was tall and thin, with dark red skin and 4 arms. His uniform was covered in medals, and his yellow eyes showed nothing but contempt when Jinwoo entered. "So," Thorne said in perfect galactic standard, "the primitive human thinks he can solve problems that have plagued the galaxy for centuries." "I don't know about solving century-old problems," Jinwoo replied, sitting down across from the general. "But maybe we can figure out a way to handle this situation without anyone getting killed." Thorne laughed, a harsh sound like metal scraping metal. "Killed? Human? Your entire species exists only because the galaxy hasn't noticed you yet. You have no armies, no advanced technology, no political power. You are insects." "Maybe," Jinwoo said calmly. "But insects sometimes see things that big creatures miss." "Enlighten me," Thorne said mockingly. "What does the insect see?" Jinwoo leaned forward. "I see a general who's chasing a princess through space, trying to stop a wedding. But weddings aren't really about the 2 people getting married, are they? They're about what the marriage represents. Alliances, treaties, power sharing." "Obviously," Thorne replied. "The marriage between Princess Valara and Prince Korith would unite the astral dominion with the hegemony of suns. Together, they would be powerful enough to challenge Crimson Fleet expansion." "So you want to stop the marriage to keep them weak?" Jinwoo said. "But what if there was another way to handle this?" "What other way could there possibly be?" Jinwoo smiled. "What if Princess Valara could choose for herself whether or not to get married?" Thorne's 4 arms gestured dismissively. "Choose? She's royalty. Her personal desires are irrelevant." "Are they?" Jinwoo asked. "What if she chose not to marry?" "Prince Korith? Then your problem would be solved without any fighting." "She would never make such a choice," Thorne said. "She has been raised to put duty above personal wants." "But what if she did? What if someone gave her a real choice for the first time in her life?" Thorne studied Jinwoo carefully. "You're suggesting that I let her choose her own fate?" "I'm suggesting something more interesting than that," Jinwoo replied. "I'm suggesting a trial by merit." "Explain." "Instead of fighting over Princess Valara, Let different representatives prove their worth through actions. Let her see what each faction really stands for, not just what they claim to stand for. Thorne's yellow eyes narrowed. And who would these representatives be? You could represent the Crimson Fleet, Jinwoo said. Prince Korath could represent the hegemony of suns, and I'll represent an alternative. You? Represent what alternative? The choice to make her own decisions, Jinwoo replied. The chance to see what life could be like if she wasn't just a tool for other people's politics. For the first time since the conversation began, Thorne looked genuinely interested. And what would this trial involve? Challenges that test wisdom, compassion, and problem-solving ability, Jinwoo said. Not military strength or political power, but the qualities that actually matter for leadership. This is ridiculous, Thorne said, but his tone suggested he was thinking about it. Princess Valara would never agree to such a thing. Why don't we ask her? Jinwoo suggested. An hour later, they were back on the space station's main conference level. Princess Valara had arrived with little Kira, who stayed close to her mother but smiled when she saw Jinwoo. Ambassador Nexus of the Galactic Council was there to oversee the proceedings, along with Prince Korath, who had arrived with a small fleet of golden ships. Prince Korath was handsome in a cold, perfect way. He wore expensive clothes and spoke with the confidence of someone who had never been told no. When he saw Valara, he smiled like she was a prize he had already won. "My dear princess," he said, taking her hand without asking. "I'm so relieved you're safe. Once we're married, I'll make sure nothing like this ever happens again." Valara pulled her hand away gently. "Prince Korath, we need to discuss the situation." "What's to discuss?" "We have a wedding to plan and a treaty to sign." Jinwoo stepped forward. Actually, there might be another option. Prince Korath looked at Jinwoo like he was something unpleasant stuck to his shoe. "And you are?" Li Jinwoo. "I'm the human who saved Princess Valara and Kira." "How nice for you," Korath said, dismissively. "I'm sure the princess appreciates your assistance, but this is a matter for royalty to decide." "What if it was a matter for the princess herself to decide?" Jinwoo asked. Both Prince Korath and General Thorne started talking at once, explaining why that was impossible, impractical, and dangerous. But Princess Valara raised her hand for silence. "I want to hear what he has to say," she said quietly. Jinwoo explained his idea for the trial by merit. As he spoke, he watched Valara's face. Her expression changed from surprise to curiosity to something that might have been hope. "You're suggesting that I could choose my own path?" she asked. "I'm suggesting that you deserve the right to see what your options really are," Jinwoo replied. "Not just what people tell you they are." Ambassador Nexus was intrigued. "This is highly unusual, but not without precedent. The old laws do allow for trials of merit in cases where traditional diplomacy has failed." "This is absurd," Prince Korath declared. "I have already signed contracts with her father." "Contracts can be changed if all parties agree," Valara said thoughtfully. "And as you pointed out, I am here, and my father is not." General Thorne crossed his forearms. "I admit I'm curious to see what the human thinks he can prove." "Then we're agreed?" Ambassador Nexus asked. One by one, they all nodded, even Prince Korath, though he clearly thought the whole thing was beneath him. The trial began the next day. Ambassador Nexus had designed 3 challenges that would test the qualities Jinwoo had suggested: wisdom, compassion, and problem-solving ability. The first challenge involved resolving a trade dispute between 2 minor species. Prince Korath approached it like a business deal, offering the most economically advantageous solution. General Thorne treated it like a military problem, suggesting that the stronger species should simply take what they wanted. Jinwoo spent time talking to representatives from both species, learning about their actual needs rather than just their stated positions. He discovered that the dispute wasn't really about trade routes at all. It was about respect and recognition. His solution involved cultural exchange programs that would benefit both species while solving the trade issues. The second challenge was more difficult. They were presented with a medical emergency involving a species none of them had encountered before. Prince Korith wanted to call in specialists and handle it through proper diplomatic channels. General Thorne suggested isolating the affected area until the problem resolved itself. Jinwoo went directly to the sick beings and started trying different approaches, working with the station's medical staff to find solutions. When traditional medicine failed, he adapted human techniques to work with alien physiology. Most importantly, he stayed with the patients, offering comfort and reassurance even when he couldn't communicate with words. Princess Valara watched all of this carefully. Through her empathic abilities, she could sense the motivations behind each representative's actions. Prince Korith was concerned with efficiency and following proper procedures. General Thorne wanted quick, simple solutions. That didn't require much effort. But Jinwoo approached each challenge with genuine care for the people involved. He didn't just want to solve problems, he wanted to solve them in ways that helped everyone, even if it took more time and effort. The third challenge almost ended the trial before it was finished. Young Kira suddenly collapsed during the proceedings, her alien physiology reacting badly to something in the station's environment. While the medical staff rushed to help, Prince Korith continued with his presentation, saying the challenge must go on. Jinwoo abandoned the trial completely. He worked alongside the doctors, using everything he had learned during Kira's first medical crisis. When the child's vital signs started failing, he held her hand and talked to her softly in words she couldn't understand, but somehow found comforting. Trial, Prince Korith said impatiently. We need to finish the trial. The trial can wait, Jinwoo replied without looking up from Kira. She's just a little girl. It took 6 hours to stabilize Kira's condition. During that entire time, Jinwoo never left her side. Neither did Princess Valara, who watched the human who had now saved her daughter twice. When Kira was finally sleeping peacefully, Ambassador Nexus called the representatives together. I believe we have seen enough, he announced. Princess Valara, the choice is yours. Valara looked at Prince Korith, who was checking his schedule and seemed annoyed by the delay. She looked at General Thorne, who was already planning his next military campaign. Then she looked at Jinwoo, who was still worried about Kira and asking the doctors if there was anything else that could be done to help her. I have made my decision, she said. Princess Valara stood in the center of the conference room, her pale blue skin seeming to glow under the station's lights. Everyone was waiting to hear her decision. Prince Korith with confident expectation, General Thorne with calculating interest, and Jinwoo with quiet hope. For saving my daughter, she began, her voice clear and strong. You shall be rewarded. She turned to face Jinwoo directly. Lee Jinwoo of Earth, you have shown me what it means to put compassion before politics and people before power. You have proven that worth is not measured by birth or wealth, but by the choices we make when no one is watching. Prince Korith stepped forward impatiently. Yes, the human deserves thanks, but we have more important matters to discuss. Our wedding arrangements. There will be no wedding, Valara said firmly. The room became completely silent. Prince Korith's mouth fell open, and even General Thorne looked surprised. What do you mean? Korith demanded. We have agreements, contracts. Your father promised. My father promised many things without asking what I wanted, Valara replied. But I am here, and he is not. According to Astral Dominion law, I have the right to make my own choices when acting as royal representative. You can't be serious, Korith said, his handsome face twisting with anger. You would throw away an alliance that could bring peace to this entire sector? I'm not throwing anything away, Valara said. I'm choosing a different path. She turned back to Jinwoo, and her next words shocked everyone in the room. Lee Jinwoo, I offer you the position of royal consort of the Astral Dominion. Accept, and you will have power beyond anything your species has ever known. You will have access to technology that could advance human civilization by thousands of years. You will rule beside me over worlds that span dozens of star systems. Jinwoo felt like the station's artificial gravity had just failed. What? You have proven yourself worthy through your actions, Valara continued. In my culture, there is no higher honor I can bestow. Captain Park's voice crackled through Jinwoo's. Communicator from Soul's Pride. Jinwoo, did she just propose to you? I think so, Jinwoo replied weakly. Prince Korath was turning red with fury. "This is unacceptable. You cannot marry a primitive human. The political implications alone. The political implications are exactly—" "Why this makes sense," General Thorne interrupted thoughtfully. "A marriage alliance with humanity would be unexpected." Ambassador Nexus nodded slowly. "It would certainly create new possibilities for galactic diplomacy." But Jinwoo wasn't thinking about politics or diplomacy. He was thinking about what Valara's offer really meant. She was offering him everything most people could ever dream of: power, wealth, advanced technology, the chance to help his entire species advance. So why did it feel wrong? "Can I have some time to think about this?" he asked. Valara looked surprised. In her experience, such an offer would be accepted immediately and gratefully. "Of course, take all the time you need." Over the next few days, while Princess Valara waited for his answer, Jinwoo found himself facing the most difficult decision of his life. He talked to his crewmates, who had mixed feelings about the situation. "Think about what this could mean for humanity," Captain Park said during one of their conversations. "Access to astral dominion technology could solve every problem Earth has: energy, disease, poverty, even death from old age." "But what about you?" Moran asked. "What about your life? Your family back on Earth?" That was the heart of Jinwoo's struggle. Accepting Valara's offer would mean leaving behind everything he had ever known. He would have to live in an alien culture, far from Earth and his human friends. He might never see his home planet again. Kim Do-yun had been researching astral dominion culture. "Their society is very formal and hierarchical," he reported. "Royal consorts are expected to follow strict protocols and represent their spouse. In political matters, it's not like human marriage at all. So I'd be more like a political partner than a husband," Jinwoo said. "Pretty much," Do-hyun confirmed. "Though from what I can tell, Princess Valara genuinely respects and likes you. That's more than most political marriages have." Meanwhile, little Kira had recovered completely from her medical crisis. She spent her time exploring the human ship and asking endless questions about Earth, human culture, and why humans did things so differently from everyone else in the galaxy. "Do all humans help strangers?" she asked Jinwoo during one of their talks. "Most of us try to," Jinwoo replied. "We believe that helping others is what makes life meaningful." "That's very different from what I learned in school," Kira said thoughtfully. "My teachers said that most species only help their own kind." "Maybe that's because they never met the right humans," Jinwoo suggested. Kira giggled. "I like humans better than my teachers." It was during one of these conversations with Kira that Jinwoo realized what was really bothering him about Valara's offer. The princess was trying to reward him in the traditional way, with power and position. But the very qualities that had impressed her were the ones that made such rewards feel empty. Jinwoo had saved Kira because she was a child in danger, not because she was royalty. He had helped Valara because it was the right thing to do, not because he wanted anything in return. The idea of accepting wealth and power as a reward for basic human decency felt wrong to him. On the fourth day, Princess Valara asked to speak with him privately. They met in one of the station's observation decks, looking out at the stars through massive transparent walls. "You're going to refuse my offer?" she said. It wasn't a question. "How did you know?" Jinwoo asked. "I can sense. You're—" 6 months had passed since the meeting on the space station. Jinwoo stood in the observation deck of Soul's Pride, now officially renamed the Earth diplomatic vessel Soul's Pride, watching a beautiful blue and green planet grow larger in the view screen. This was Astral Prime, the home world of Princess Valara's people. "First time seeing an alien planet up close?" Captain Park asked, joining him at the window. "First time seeing any planet that isn't Earth," Jinwoo replied. "It's incredible. The planet below looked similar to Earth in some ways, but the continents were different shapes and the oceans were a deeper blue than any Earth sea. City lights sparkled across the night side of the world, and orbital stations moved like bright stars around the planet. "Ambassador Jinwoo," Kim Do-hyun called from the communications station. "We're receiving a transmission from Princess Valara." Jinwoo smiled. It still felt strange to be called ambassador, but he was getting used to it. "Put her through." Princess Valara appeared on the main screen, and Jinwoo noticed immediately that she looked different. She was wearing simpler clothes than before, and her formal royal bearing had been replaced by something more relaxed and natural. "Welcome to Astral Prime, Ambassador," she said with a warm smile. "I hope your journey was pleasant." "Very pleasant, thank you. How are things going with your new university?" Valara's face lit up. "Better than I could have hoped. We now have students from 12 different species, all studying intercultural communication and diplomatic theory. Some of the older nobles think I've gone completely mad, but the younger generation is very excited. And Kira? How is she adjusting to Earth?" "See for yourself," Valara said, stepping aside. Kira appeared on the screen, wearing a human style, school uniform and grinning widely. She had grown in the past 6 months and looked healthier and happier than Jinwoo had ever seen her. "Ambassador Jinwoo," she said excitedly in much improved Galactic standard. "I learned how to play soccer, and I got an A on my science project about different planetary atmospheres." "That's wonderful, Kira. Are you enjoying Earth School?" "I love it. The teachers ask us what we think about things instead of just telling us what to think. And the other, children don't care that I'm an alien princess. They just want to know if I can help them with their math homework." Valara laughed. She's become quite popular with her classmates. Apparently, having lived on multiple worlds gives her an advantage in geography class. "I want to become a teacher like my mother," Kira announced. "But I want to teach human and alien children together so they can learn about each other." "That sounds like a wonderful goal," Jinwoo said. After the transmission ended, Jinwoo prepared for his formal arrival on Astral Prime. This was his first official diplomatic mission as Earth's ambassador, and he wanted to make a good impression. The shuttle that brought him to the planet's surface was elegant and comfortable, designed for interspecies travel. When they landed at the capital city's spaceport, Jinwoo was amazed by what he saw. The city was beautiful in a way that no Earth city could match. Buildings seemed to grow from the ground like crystal trees, their surfaces changing color as the planet's twin suns moved across the sky. Gardens filled with alien plants hung from every structure, and the air smelled like flowers mixed with something he couldn't identify, but found pleasant. Princess Valara was waiting for him at the spaceport, along with a small group of officials. But what surprised Jinwoo most was that she came to greet him personally, rather than sending representatives. "Is this normal protocol?" he asked as they walked through the beautiful terminal. "Nothing about our arrangement is normal protocol," Valara replied with amusement. "I've decided that if we're creating new ways of doing things, we might as well start with how we treat visiting ambassadors." As they traveled through the city, Valara explained the changes that had taken place since their agreement. The Astral Dominion had begun implementing democratic reforms, allowing citizens more say in their government. Trade agreements were being renegotiated to be more fair to smaller species. Most importantly, the rigid social hierarchy that had dominated their culture for thousands of years was slowly becoming more flexible. "The old nobles hate it," Valara admitted. "They say I'm destroying traditions that have kept our civilization stable for millennia." "What do you say to that?" Jinwoo asked. "I tell them that stability without growth is just another word for stagnation. I tell them that traditions should serve the people, not the other way around." They arrived at what had once been the royal palace, but was now the University of Interspecies Studies. Valara had converted her family's ancestral home into a place of learning, keeping only a small apartment for herself and Kira. "Wasn't this a difficult decision?" Jinwoo asked as they toured the university halls. "At first," Valara replied, "but then I realized that this palace had been a symbol of separation, of the royal family being apart from and above the people. Turning it into a university made it a symbol of connection instead." The university was impressive. Students from dozens of different species worked together in laboratories, attended lectures, and debated ideas in common areas. Jinwoo saw beings he had never encountered before, some humanoid, others completely alien, all focused on learning how to understand each other better. "This is what you always wanted to do, isn't it?" Jinwoo observed. "Yes," Valara said softly. "For the first time in my life, I wake up each morning excited about the day ahead. I'm finally doing work that feels meaningful to me personally, not just politically necessary." "And your people accept this?" "More than I expected," Valara replied. It turns out that many of them were as tired of the old ways as I was. They just needed someone to show them that change was possible. During his week-long visit, Jinwoo met with various officials, scientists, and educators. He shared human perspectives on democracy, individual rights, and conflict resolution. But more importantly, he listened. He learned about astral dominion, history, culture, and the challenges they faced in implementing reforms. One evening, as he and Valara walked through the university gardens, she asked him a question that had been on her mind for months. "Do you ever regret refusing my original offer?" Jinwoo considered this carefully. "Sometimes I wonder what would have happened if I had accepted. But then I think about what we've accomplished this way, and I know we made the right choice." "What?" "We've accomplished," Valara repeated thoughtfully. "I like that. This isn't something either of us could have done alone." "That's the best part about it," Jinwoo agreed. "We didn't just solve our immediate problem, we created a new model for how different species can work together." As if to prove his point, they received a message that evening from Ambassador Nexus. 3 other species had approached the Galactic Council asking for help setting up similar cultural exchange programs. The hegemony of suns, faced with the loss of their planned alliance with the Astral Dominion, had decided to try a different approach to expansion, one based on cooperation rather than conquest. Even the Crimson Fleet had begun reconsidering their aggressive policies. General Thorne had requested a meeting with human negotiators to discuss trade agreements instead of territorial disputes. "We started something bigger than we realized," Valara said as she read the reports. "The best changes usually happen that way," Jinwoo replied. "You do what feels right in the moment, and sometimes it ends up changing everything." On his last day on Astral Prime, Jinwoo attended a graduation ceremony at the university. The first class of interspecies diplomats was receiving their degrees, and they came from 15 different worlds. As he watched these young beings, some humanoid, others utterly alien, promised to work for understanding and cooperation throughout the galaxy, Jinwoo thought about how far they had all come. It had started with a simple rescue mission. A human engineer had heard a child crying for help and had decided to act. That single moment of compassion had led to everything that followed. The trial by merit, the cultural exchange agreement, the democratic reforms, and now this. A new generation of diplomats trained to see differences as opportunities rather than threats. The alien princess looked at me and said, "For saving my daughter, you shall be rewarded," Jinwoo murmured to himself, remembering Valara's words from months ago. "What was that?" Valara asked, overhearing him. "I was just thinking about your original offer," Jinwoo replied. "You said I would be rewarded for saving Kira." "And you were," Valara said with a smile. "Just not in the way either of us expected." "What do you mean?" "You wanted to help people and make a difference in the galaxy. Look around you." She gestured to the graduating students. "How many lives will these diplomats touch? How many conflicts will they resolve? How many species will learn to understand each other because of the foundation we built?" Jinwoo looked at the young faces in the audience, representing dozens of different worlds and cultures, all united by a shared commitment to peaceful cooperation. "I never thought about it that way," he said. "The reward wasn't wealth or power," Valara continued. "It was the opportunity to be part of something larger than ourselves, to help create a galaxy where beings like Kira can grow up with more choices and more hope than we had." As Soul's Pride prepared to depart for Earth, carrying new trade,